and welcome back to the channel. So glad to have you here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the anatomy of an email, a letter, a voice message, a text message, you name it, whatever correspondence from your narcissistic mother or father or whoever the narcissist is in your life, because they all do the same stuff anyways. When you go low or no contact with them, or set some sort of boundary, or reduce the amount of supply that you're giving to them in some way, shape, or form. If this content resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for even more great content on healing from narcissistic abuse, narcissistic parents, all things narcissistic abuse recovery, plus some information on the mind-body connection, because narcissistic abuse really does affect the nervous system in a way where the repressed emotions manifest physically, but that's for another video. And feel free to also check out the link in the description for more resources and ways to get support from me throughout your healing journey. So let's dive right into the anatomy of the correspondence, whatever it is, right? Maybe your narcissistic parent doesn't do texting, so maybe they sent you an old-fashioned letter through the mail, or maybe they sent you an email or left you a voice message. It's all gonna follow this blueprint, because let's face it, I've been through this myself with my late narcissistic mother, and I've had many clients over the years with narcissistic parents, and I've broken it down to a basic formula. Let's dive right in. Part 1, the greeting. There's 3 ways for the greeting to go. Number 1, it could be overly formal, where they just address you by your first name, and it's almost like aggressive, where it's like you know you're in trouble when it's just the first name. Option number 2 for the greeting is the guilt trip, which is designed to make you feel like you're this unreasonable, horrible person. So they might say something along the lines of, I haven't reached out in insert whatever number of weeks, months, or years it's been since the last correspondence, because of fear of making you more angry with me for whatever strange reason it is that I seem to have upset you, right? Like they'll play dumb and they'll make you seem like you're just this unhinged person who gets angry with their mother for literally no reason. And then we've got option number 3, which is the love bomb-esque angle, which is really just a tactic to sort of gain your trust. So it might sound like, hello, my wonderful daughter, son, adult child. And it's almost like they're kind of singing your praises in some sort of weird way, but you know it smells like bullshit, because it is. And once we get past the greeting, we get into part 2, which is the play dumb sandwich with guilt trip bread. So the first piece of bread would be them starting off with something along the lines of how they're feeling so awful and crying themselves to sleep every single night because you're not talking to them anymore. Which, it's not true that they're actually crying themselves to sleep, let's face it. They're just saying that so you think it's true, so you feel like a terrible person. The meat part of this sandwich is them playing dumb. And they say something about how they don't understand why you haven't talked to them in whatever amount of time it's been. And let's face it, they understand. They're just not going to admit it, because if they admit it, that would be taking accountability for their abuse. And then we've got the other piece of bread, where they'll say something along the lines of their depression is getting so much worse because of all the stress that you've put them through by not talking to them anymore. And then we've got some bonus bread, where they might sprinkle in some health problems just to add some extra guilt onto your plate. And parts 3 and 4 are both conclusions. So you might have both of these conclusions or one of these conclusions, but the more likely conclusion would be this one, which is the love bomb, devalue, discard trifecta. So they'll basically remind you of 1 or 2 nice things they did for you as a way to love bomb you and make it seem like they actually do care about you. For example, they'll remind you they got you a gift for a holiday or your birthday, or, you know, a vacation you went on as a family. Or they might make it even more textbook and pathetic, and they'll remind you of the fact that they fulfilled their legal obligation to you as a parent when you were a child growing up by providing food, shelter, clothing, driving you to school, you know, the general jail avoiding things that parents have to do for their children in order to not have CPS come to the house. And they might throw in another love bomb where they tell you about how highly they speak of you to all of their friends as a way to kind of make you think that they do care about you, they do think highly of you. But the truth is, there's a chance that they might not actually be talking highly about you to their friends, and they're just talking crap about you behind your back. But if they are actually talking highly about you to their friends, it's all for show. It's because they want their friends to believe that They raised a wonderful human who's achieving so many things, and they're gonna obviously take all of the credit for that because they're your parent, and when they're narcissistic, they take credit for all of your achievements. And of course, they want to look good in front of their friends because of the optics. Then they'll throw in a devaluation where they'll accuse you of misunderstanding their communication and you misinterpreted everything and all of their good intentions, and you're just blowing everything out of proportion and being overly dramatic with your silence or your boundaries. And then they'll probably throw in a discard where they're gonna say, I don't want a response, or I need time to heal, or you're probably not gonna read this or listen to this, or something to that effect. And then of course we've got our second version of the conclusion to the correspondence, which would probably be a love bomb, and it would be something along the lines of, I love and miss you so much, or I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me for whatever it is that you think that I did. And they'll use so many words, like they'll throw in a lot of ands and that's and stuff like that when like they could have said it in way less words. But I don't know, it's just something I've noticed with narcissists and the way that they speak and write, that they'll put in so many words. And then of course they might sign off with, don't forget, I will always be your mother forever. Nothing's gonna change that. Well, no shit. And then if you're really lucky, they'll throw in some sort of religious angle about whatever holy book they subscribe to, being unimpressed with you for not honoring your mother or father. Or they might say something like, I just hope you found happiness in your life. You get the idea. And so that's the basic anatomy of correspondence from your narcissistic parent when you've very much lowered contact, whether it's low contact or full no contact. You'll probably get some kind of correspondence like that. Maybe it's in a few weeks, maybe it's in several years or a few years, you never know. It just really depends on if they think they can get supply from you in that moment, and that's when the correspondence is gonna happen. So the moral of the story here is that these types of letters or voice messages or whatever are all manipulation to get supply from you. Supply is your emotional reaction, your time, your energy, your engagement in these pointless conversations that lead to nothing. They feed off of your emotional reaction and your sense of bamboozlement. And this is a narcissist's goal. It doesn't make any sense when you're a normal person with empathy, but you have to accept it and you have to understand that not everybody is wired with empathy. And if you have received correspondence like this recently from a narcissistic parent and you're wondering if you should reply, you really shouldn't, because the whole goal of that letter is to get you to respond. When you respond, they get a little ego boost and they think that they still have power and control over you, and they're basically saying whatever they can to make you feel guilty, ashamed of yourself, afraid of some sort of consequences, whatever, in order to get a response from you. Feel free to let me know in the comments underneath this video if this resonated with you and if this matches the gist of the correspondence you've received from your narcissistic parent after you've gone low or no contact with them. And if you are struggling with whether or not you should respond, I would strongly encourage you to pour that energy into yourself and your healing journey rather than focusing that energy on the narcissistic parent, because that's what they want you to do, and it's a distraction from you being able to heal and live your best life after narcissistic abuse. And if you're not sure where to start your healing journey, follow the link in the description and you can take my free quiz on how to uncover your path to freedom after narcissistic abuse. The results are tailored to the answer in the questions asked, and there's a whole bunch of resources that you can get your hands on that will really help jumpstart that healing journey for you. I hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.